Well, hello again. It's the 19th of February, 23. It's my second upload for the evening. I was talking about up and down there a moment ago. And, well, whether I load it or not is another matter, isn't it? So that would be 3, perhaps 4 documentaries which I have not included in my list. I might actually start to set up some playlists so the viewers can start to make sense of what's real and what's not. But yes, up and down. I mean, she's very much aware that I've got a brilliant mind when it comes to the esoteric, a very deep knowledge of the spiritual realm. She's under no illusion that when I talk about these matters, I talk with some authority on it. We go back such a long time that she had taken the route with me at the right time, we would have certainly, well, we would have fulfilled our spiritual obligation, which I was talking about last night. But anyway, let's move on to something a bit lighter. I don't like all this heavy talk all the time. Up and down makes me talk about heavy things. Maybe another sip of tea, even though it's none of your business. I was at B&M. You probably think, oh, well, I knew that was coming. A couple of things, actually. And I wore my scarf today because it was quite a chilly wind. But when I was down in B&M, someone said to me, "What on earth are you doing with this in your hand? Can you see it? It's like a pastry brush, isn't it? Can you see in this light? Am I focused correctly? It's like a pastry brush." Well, it's like a pastry brush because it is a pastry brush. But I found it was the nearest thing I could find that if I sort of banged into any sort of low vibrational people, I could just wipe myself down very quickly without getting my skin, touching the low vibrational area with my bare hands. So I just wiped it down. So it's very difficult to demonstrate on this camera when I'm holding it, but perhaps it might be just on the sleeve, not so much down the trousers. Not much likelihood of a low vibrational touch in your trousers, you understand? But also when I was down at B&M, these are a very fabulous thing I get for the birds in the garden. It's just sold suet. It's suet. But I do like it in the coconut shell. And they're very reasonably priced because I think it's either 8 or 10 of these for, I think they're about 49 pence each. 69 pence you buy them singly, but the birds absolutely adore this. And I get long-tailed tits, I get blue tits, cold tits, I get robin, obviously, the wren comes along. I love the wren. I always think that the wren is like a little mouse with wings. I remember writing a poem about this in my collection. It's a fabulous collection, that poetry of mine. It really is. Up and down's missed out on that. But when I was in B&M, I was, as you sort of pounce out of an aisle, well, not so much pounds, but you just sort of walk into one aisle and realise you don't want to buy pillowcases or pillows, so you kind of reverse your way back out again. And this young female gave me this big smile. So I just looked at her, I didn't say hello, I just looked at her and I thought, where have I met you before? I wandered around to get the coconut thing. I thought, where on earth have I met her before? I know her. I thought it puzzled my brain. And I thought to myself, I think it's so long since I've seen her. I think I've been sitting in her company chatting her up. And she's probably wondered, why on earth are you not speaking? She's also recognised me and she smiled and I've not even acknowledged her. So I'm going to have to, well, if I do bang into her, well, I haven't seen her for about 4 years, but if I do bang into her, I'm going to say, oh, listen, did I pass you on doing B&M at all? And she's going to say, no. No, I don't think so. I says, well, wasn't it around about 4:15 on the 19th of February? You were coming along this way, I was going to get coconut for the suet for the bird? No. And I'm going to look particularly stupid. But that's one way of approaching it. The other way of approaching it is just, well, say nothing, and then, well, if I say nothing, she's not going to speak to me again, because she's going to think, well, I passed him in B&M, he never even looked at me, he never even smiled, he never even said hello. He just looked through me, as if he was going to get coconut shell for the birds or something, the suet. That's the kind of expression he had in his face. Do you understand? It's going to be very difficult. So I might just say to her one day, if I do see her, I'll say, hello, how are you getting on? Not bad. Oh, I saw you one day, Andy. I saw you in B&M. Oh, was that about 4:15 on the 19th of February of 2023? Oh, yes, you remember. Oh, so you did pass me without acknowledging me. Fuck off there. You understand how you can't win in these situations? So I might just say to her, hello, how are you getting on? And she goes, oh, fine, yourself. I haven't seen you for ages. I said, well, that's a fucking lie. You saw me in B&M on the 19th of February 2023 about 4:15. So that won't work either. Oh, what would we do? Maybe just say something like, well, hi there. It's a long time since I've seen you. I think this must be about 4 years ago. Sorry, I was pretty pissed that night. Oh, thanks very much. You only chat me up when you're pissed. I thought, oh, well, you weren't really much of a conversationalist yourself that day on the 19th of February 23 about 4:15. Where? In B&M. And wait for a reaction on her face. I'm going to have a sip of tea. Nothing to do with you. Do you understand how up and down has caused a lot of havoc for my brain? I mean, it's all deliberate. I know her, and she sends out very specific energies, and much of what was planned and conceived was, well, she also wanted me to be in such a position in my brain, in brain fog, that that I wouldn't be able to have a conversation with any other female, because I'd be half thinking of up and down. And in a sense, that was correct. I have been almost in liaisons with other females, and for some reason I've thought maybe this could blow it with up and down if I involve myself with this other person. So I think it's strange. But then I realised she was taking it to the other end of the spectrum, because she was then, you know, not just sending energy, she was starting doing juju and other black magic. And that was all too apparent in Malta with the thunderstorms and the rain. I knew it was her. And also those difficulties travelling to Egypt. She didn't know I was going to Egypt, but she must have thought, where is he? He's not he doesn't seem to be sending any energies himself just now. What's happening? I'm going to have to try and fuck up what he's doing, wherever he is. So I'm quite sure that up and down, I'm quite sure when she rests her head on the pillow, the first thing that comes to her mind is me. And I know that I've had, I'm going to be quite frank. The last thing that I do when I go to my bed is, even though I try to prevent it, it's very difficult. But I still think of up and down, just for a moment, just a very brief moment actually, and hoping that she's all right, always there. Because I don't want any harm to come to the girl. She's got a very pleasant soul, but she's got a very terrible exterior. You understand, like an onion or something, which has got a very beautiful centre, but the skin round about it can be rough, and it's a bit